LANSA customers. I'm Kim Lindsay, your LANSA customer service representative.
And I'm David Brault, LANSA's product marketing manager.
Today we're excited to announce the general availability of a brand new LANSA offering called LongRange, which allows RDMLX developers to build native mobile apps for Apple and Android devices.
Now, LongRange is also a very strategic product for LANSA because it solidifies our mobile strategy. If you've investigated mobile application development at all, you'll know there are two variations of mobile applications, namely native mobile apps versus mobile web apps.
And if you were to Google the phrase native versus web and read all 109 million hits, you discover that the community is splintered into two factions.
It is. And a lot of the time, the debate between the two camps are fueled by developers just defending what they know, defending the technology that they use.
Well, I guess that's where LongRange comes to the rescue. Now LANSA developers can build both kinds of mobile apps, native and mobile web.
That's a great point, Kim. LANSA customers no longer have to take development languages into account when deciding which type of mobile application to build.
Now that everyone knows that native mobile apps have been added to their LANSA repertoire, let's explain to everyone why they would want to build native apps with LongRange.
Sounds good to me.
First off, as I mentioned before, the only language they need to know is RDMLX, and they already know that.
Great point, Kim, because companies love the idea of having native mobile apps, but then they realize they don't have the skills in-house to get it done.
The second reason why to use LongRange is the user experience. Hey Dave, why don't we show everyone what a LongRange app looks like and how it works with the device features?
Sure, let's show them the sample incident application. Let's say I'm super clumsy and I just stab myself with a pen and Kim needs to enter a new incident into the system.
I need to get information into the application as quickly and easily as possible, especially since Dave is in so much pain.
Notice as Kim enters the new incident, everything is touch enabled. The date, the type, the status. When Kim touches details, the keyboard pops up and she can enter what happened. It's really the little things that make a big difference. Like notice how the keyboard layout automatically switched to numeric when Kim touched home phone. That's because LongRange knows it's a numeric field. Kim did not have to do that.
Or, like when I entered in Dave's email address, the keyboard automatically changes to include the characters that are frequently used in email addresses, like @signs, underscores, dashes, etc., because LongRange knows it's an email field.
If Kim needs to contact my wife again, it's just a click away because she can now interact with the phone's native dialer and message program.
I can also take advantage of features like geo-location, so the device can enter the data for me, reducing the amount of typing I do, so Dave doesn't bleed to death.
And if I do bleed to death, you can see exactly where it happened just by zooming in here. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, Kim, so why don't you use the camera to capture some information?
Okay, let me take a picture of your wounded hand.
Wait, let me make this more realistic. Ah, there we go.
Much better. Let me enter a caption. Just as an FYI, all of the device integration you saw in the app was done using RDMLX. You don't have to know anything about the device's inner workings. Let's save the photo, and we're done.
All right, my hand feels better now. Pass back the iPad so I can show everybody some of the programming examples that comes with the product.
Sure, Dave.
Notice when Kim handed me the device, the orientation changed. This is automatically handled for you. No need to code for that. Let's go over to programming examples and flip it back. LongRange comes bundled with a set of programming examples because people like to learn by example. There are roughly 60 examples on how to implement different types of features or functions, from simple Hello World apps to applications with a lot more substance. Every example comes with RDMLX code, so you can see exactly how it was done. Let's say that you need to add barcode scanning to your native app. There's an example on how to do that for single and multi-scans. Let me quickly scan this item. Now, we were able to scan that barcode without any iPad expertise or knowledge of barcode scanning. If you want to see the RDMLX code behind this app to see how it works, just click on the Which Form View button below. In this case, it tells us to look at the reusable part named LREC0016. Now, if you look over at the menu on the left-hand side of the screen, you can see there are plenty more examples, from recording and playing back audio, video, pictures, messaging, etc. There's another section called Web View Examples that demonstrates how to embed websites and PDFs and Google Charts into your long-range apps. If you want to see the code behind this Google Chart app, we just touch on the Which Form View button, and that tells us which reusable part we should look at. Again, there are roughly 60 of these examples with full RDMLX code behind them, and they're all included as part of the long-range installation.
Thanks, Dave. Now that we've seen a long-range app in action, let's cover some of the benefits our customers will gain by using long-range to build native apps. First, your app doesn't have to go through Apple's approval process. LongRange has already gone through the process for you. You just write the apps and then they're available immediately.
You know, this same benefit applies to upgrades as well. Long-range apps run off your server, which means they are instantly pushed down to the end users without having to go to the App Store. And you, as a developer, don't have to wait weeks for Apple to approve your modifications.
Another benefit is that long-range apps deploy to multiple devices. If you were writing apps in native languages, you'd have to write it twice, once in Objective-C for Apple and then in Java for Android.
LongRange stole a page out of the VLF handbook in the fact that it's based on an application framework. Anybody that's familiar with the VLF knows that frameworks speed up development by reducing the amount of plumbing code developers have to write over and over again. Things like setting up the navigation for the application, the titling and the tab sheets, and the command bar where all of the action buttons go. Developers just use RDMLX to build the apps and snap them inside the orange section. You can also plug in web pages written in LANSA or any other web technology, even 5250 screens refaced with axes. You also have the ability to add secure file and folder synchronization between the device and your IBMI server. The framework is also responsible for long-range handling different screen orientations, as we saw before in the incident app, and different form factors. Working with the long-range framework is very easy. It's all point and click, fill in the blanks.
Why don't we discuss what is supported by version 1 of LongRange and what to expect down the road?
All right, how about you start with version 1 and then I'll talk about what's next.
Okay. Version 1 allows LANSA developers to write native apps in Visual LANSA, check them into the IBMI server for compilation, and deploy them to Apple devices, iPads, iPhones, and the iPod Touch.
Then by the end of summer, LongRange is going to be able to support Android phones and tablets, and you'll be able to run the same application on both platforms without any modifications to your code. LongRange will also provide support for a Windows Server deployment, meaning customers that need to run against a Windows and SQL Server platform can do that as well, in addition to the IBMI. And for those of you keeping an eye on the new Windows Mobile platform, well, so are we. If Windows Mobile takes off as Gartner is predicting, and there's a strong demand for it from the long-range community, then that could be another deployment option for long-range.
Well, I think this is great news for any LANSA shop looking into building and deploying native mobile apps.
I agree. And as I mentioned before, I think every company wants to build native apps, they just don't have the skills to do so. Well, with long-range, this is not the case anymore for LANSA shops.
So we invite you to learn more about LongRange and participate in a 30-day free trial.
Definitely. The free trial will give you the opportunity to witness firsthand just how easy it is to build native apps with LANSA and take advantage of all the cool phone and tablet features.
To get more information on LongRange and the free 30-day trial, go to www.lansa.com. If you still have questions, feel free to call your LANSA sales representative.
So check out the website, download and install the software. It's very straightforward. Then spend a day going through the tutorials, checking out some of the programming examples, and you're going to hit the ground running.
Before you know it, you'll be showing off your new native apps to your coworkers.
Well, that's it for us. Thanks so much for watching today.
And we hope to hear from you soon.